Hi guys, welcome to Real Talk with Sachi. I really want to appreciate you all for your support so far. I say thank you for everything, for always being there. Sometimes it feels like I wouldn't even come up live, but when I remember you or when I remember your support, I just have to be here. Thank you all so much, and we'll just get started immediately. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about mental health. My videos, my previous videos, especially when I talked about imposter syndrome, anxiety, rejection, all of that, they kind of have this connection with mental health because imposter syndrome affects your mental health. Rejection, when you are down, it affects your mental health. And also, when you have anxiety, your mental health is at risk. So it's not like I'm just off, like out of the blues. I'm just going to talking about mental health. Like all of these things that we experience in life, or some of these challenges, has a way to mess up with our mental health. And it's very important that we talk about it. It's very important we know how to seek help. It's very important we know the right people to talk to in the down moments, right? In moments where it feels like nothing is working anymore. So today, sitting down here, I'm very confident to be talking about mental health because, guys, 3 days ago, I was just certified as USA Adult Mental Health First Aider. So that means I am not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but what it means is that I have the necessary skills or the necessary tools to provide first help to anyone who is feeling, who I notice mental challenges, and of course, I also serve as a mediator between a victim or someone who is going through mental health and a professional, right? We don't diagnose, we're not doctors. We're just there to provide you the first help you need. We call it the algae plans. When the algae plan doesn't work, we can now, of course, even within the algae plans, reference to professionals are there, and also listening judgmentally and all of that. So today I'll be talking about mental health because I feel safe to talk about it with my skill and my certification as USA Adult Mental Health First Aider. So first of all, there are so many things we do in life that puts our health at risk, or some things, some circumstances, or some life challenges that when confronted with, we find ourselves depressed, we find ourselves losing concentrations in things that we do, especially things like, you see, maybe for some people who grew up in abusive home, family where it's always one battle to the other between the father and the mom or anybody at all. But, because the first agent of socialization begins in the family. And when there is no peace in the family, or when the pillars of the family who are supposed to provide or shelter us, when they are always, when there is no peace, it kind of has a way to affect everybody in the family, right? So mental health, it's a very dangerous, it's very important we know about mental health, but when our mental health is affected, it can be very dangerous because it affects our productivity, it limits the things we can do, because when your health, when mentally you are not stable, I don't know who is that person who can function in an unhealthy mental state. So for me, I think, yes, I've had series of mental health challenges, I remember, but of recent, I would say it's when I arrived the state last year. So just because I was having this imposter syndrome, it was overwhelming for me, right? And in fact, it got bad that I've said it in my previous video that it got bad that my psyche was like, I don't know how it changed, right? I stopped eating. I didn't know what food is all about. Some days I go 3 days straight without realizing that I haven't even fed rather. So, and one of the things that helped me, because at that point, every day, fear upon fear of someone waking up to say, oh, you are a fraud, you're not supposed to be here. That moment where something extraordinary happens to you. Like for me, it's extraordinary. It might not be the same for everybody, but so every day you keep waking up, you know that God did this, you know that God was with you, but you wake up every day, you're like, really? So, and that time, like my mental health was really at risk because all I could think of then was, what is going on? I can't study, I can't understand anything. When I open my book to read, I'm playing. Like it feels like I don't know what I'm doing. So thankfully, or thank goodness, the university has resources like the counseling center and the psychiatric center, which I use the counseling center and it helped me, right? So what am I saying today? What I'm saying is it is very important to seek help. It is very important to talk to people when you feel the things going on in your life is going out of proportion and you can no longer handle it. And then it doesn't even mean that I'm not saying you should try to handle it. No. Once you see or once you observe that something is causing you discomfort, right? And you're mentally already affected, it's always important to speak out because one of the reasons or one of the causes, the major cause of suicide is depression. And no one can have depression in a stable mental health. It's not possible because when you are depressed, your mental health is affected, is at risk at that moment. And all that you'll be thinking of is just how to end it. And also in mental health training, we had our LG plan, which is ALGEE. A stands for access. When you see someone or when you have a close friend of yours who all of a sudden begins to act differently, you can notice this maybe in their performance in class or their appearance or their look or the way they do things. They now do things differently. Once you assess or you identify this, it's always important to reach out. And please, it's very important to ask this straightforward question. Have you considered taking your life? Have you considered suicide? A lot of people might think, oh, it's a very forward question. It's you putting that thought in that person. No, it's not true. What if you didn't ask and the person already had that thought? And the person went ahead to do that? What would you say? So because I also had that thought when I visited the counselor last year, she was like, after I finished narrating my ordeal, she was like, have you considered suicide? He said, no. Like, the way I checked, I said, no, I haven't. So it's very important to ask that question. Have you considered killing yourself? Or ask that person who you've noticed that, and also to listen non-judgmentally. You have to listen non-judgmentally. As a mental health first aider, one of my action plan is to listen non-judgmentally, right? So when I see you, when I assess your problem, when I see that, oh, your appearance is no longer there, and then I ask you this question, when you start talking to me, I am required to listen non-judgmentally, not to judge you, not to cut you short while you're talking, to make you feel safe, to create this environment where you would be able to share what your problem is with me. And also to encourage you, to give you hope. That's also one of the work of a mental first aider, to give you hope, to encourage you, to tell you that, okay, that this is not the end of the world. We can do this. We can work this around. All that is required is to find a better way to handle it, And also when the situation gets, or when it gets into crisis, right? When the person or when this victim is in crisis and you know that you can no longer help, it's not something that can be taken care of based on a first aid level. It's very important you reach out or you connect this person to professionals, right? Like social workers, counselors, like in my case, I visited a counselor, psychiatrics, very important. And it's also important that people like your advisors in school, you can also talk to them. Your like bodies, like organizational bodies, like here we have student bodies, we have like is ACSA, African Caribbean Student Association, which is a body that houses and supports non-African and Caribbean students, right? So you can speak to anyone, you can speak to the organization, tell them what you're going through. So it's also a way to help, to help yourself. And also, of course, it's also very important to let people know. It's very important kind of take care of yourself. We call it self-care. Self-care is very important. We sometimes we wait for someone to reward us. We wait for someone to applaud us. We wait for someone to give us our flowers when we do things. But the truth is that people are busy. Not everyone have that time to remember or to do things for you. It takes grace for someone to care for you that so much to gift you, right? So me, what I do, I remember when I arrived the States last year, I was so conscious of um I was just so conscious of dollar naira kind of thing, like that kind of comparison that doesn't even make sense. And you find yourself that you will starve if you continue doing that, like you will starve. So I told myself every month I'm going to gift myself. Like it's a way to take care of myself because I work hard. I don't need anyone to tell me that I work hard before I know that I work hard, because I know I work hard. I read a lot, I study, I write my papers, I do other things, and I'm doing really top with Sochi. And that means I'm doing so much. There is no better way to reward myself if not to take care of myself. And that's self-care. It can be through exercising, it can be through going to on the field, what's it called, excursion, right? Girls trip, like girls will say boys trip. Have fun. Me, I gift myself every month. I gift myself, no matter the amount. The amount doesn't matter, but the most important thing is that I gift myself every month. And it kind of makes me know that I am really rewarding myself for the good things. So sometimes I remember sometimes when I'm struggling to write a paper and this paper is not working, like I try, it's not working, like a writer's block and all of that. So when I eventually finish writing that paper, or even before, when it's getting tough, what I would tell myself is, if I finish this paper in so date, this is what I'm going to buy for myself. I must do it. And guys, when I'm done with it, I go ahead and I get that thing for myself. So mental health is very important to understand how this works. It's very important to help people around you when you notice that they are no longer concentrating, when they're losing concentration. This is not to judge people. This is not to criticize them. Because I remember in the beginning when I said that Real Talk with Sochi is to create this safe space where we share our vulnerabilities. And one of those moments is when you are down mentally. Okay, guys, before we continue, please, I want to ask you all to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, share this video, like, and keep sharing the good news. So, in some cases, mental health is also very dangerous because it like I've already mentioned that it impairs or it impedes your productivity, right? You begin to you won't be doing anything. The way your maximum output will just be slashed because mentally you are no longer okay. But what I'm saying here is, please speak. It's very important to speak. It is very important to speak. Sometimes people fear, there is this fear of rejection, there is this fear of stigma, there is this fear of societal constructs. People will judge you. But you have to break those fears to get help for yourself. It's very important. At least take care of yourself. Exercise. Exercise is very important. Today it feels like I'm teaching because mental health is really something that people need to understand, because sometimes we find ourselves in this space where we are all working resiliently to make money, to be the best in the world, and even at the expense of our mental health. And you know why mental health is also very important is when you get sick, you go to the hospital, right? You get treated. But when you're mentally challenged, where do you go? And also, in some parts of the world, people believe that for you to go to a counselor or for you to go to a psychiatrist, you must be mentally ill, like you have to be mad. That's not true. It's not true. Talking is therapeutic. When you speak to people, when you speak to the right people, not everybody, which is why if you don't feel comfortable talking to your friends, if you don't feel comfortable talking to family, which is the first agent of socialization, professional help is important. And I know that in most cases, the reason people don't seek for such help or professional help is because of cost, infrastructure, and stigma, right? But it's very important that you realize that some organizations like social workers are there for you. There are some free organizations that you can speak to that can help you. There is always that one person that you'll confide in. When they ask you, who is that one person that if you know that something is wrong with you, you can always share with. Please Talk to these people. They would help you. They would have something to tell you. And you, on the other hand, or myself on the other hand, who is a mental health first aider, my job is to assess you. My job is to listen to you non-judgmentally. My job is to give you hope, to give you reassuring information that things would get better, to walk you through that process in my capacity as a mental health first aider. And when things are no longer within my skill, we have to seek for professional help, because at that point, these are trained people who are professionally trained, like psychologists, therapists, medical doctors, sociologists, people, social workers, right? These are people who can also help us. So, guys, mental health, we need to take care of our mental health. We need to speak when things are bothering us. We need to speak. We need to speak. It is very important. Forget societal constructs, forget stigma, forget the cost, because also we have free resources that can also help you if you can't afford the paid ones, right? So, because when you're a mentor, we keep saying that there is this saying that well, health is wealth, right? So, and health, a healthy life is not all about getting up and being able to wake up in the morning and go about your daily life. When your mental health is challenged, nothing else works for you. Nothing else will work. So, guys, share this video, comment, like, let people know about the importance of mental health. And also, if you also have a solution or one of the ways to handle mental health, please drop your comment on the comment section. Let's encourage one another. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.